Blessed are you. Blessed are you simply for being here this morning. Blessed are you. I think we're here for many different reasons today. Some of you are here because you have a loved one who has died in the last year and their funeral was here. Some of you are here to hear our wonderful choir sing. Choir members, you're here to sing and to see how the requiem you sing as a concert actually works in a liturgy. Some of you are here because you're always here. Some of you are here because you've wandered in by chance. Blessed are you. Blessed too are the people whose names we will read during the prayers, or whose names that you'll remember yourselves as we pray. There are names on that list of people who died very recently, others long ago. Some old, some very young, some in between. For some, the grief is so recent and so fresh, you can hardly breathe. For others, the tears might be flowing again, but more softly. Each life that you remember, whether short or long, is complete in itself. In the midst of sadness and grief, we can still be thankful. That is partly what Jesus meant when he said, "Blessed are you who weep now, for you will laugh." Wherever you are and you're grieving and you're loving and you're giving thanks, you can allow the words of the requiem and the choir to speak for you. Whatever it is you want to say to your loved one, to God or to yourself, words of thanks or words of anger, words of love, words of regret, words of joy, words of sorrow, tears and smiles, goodbyes and hellos. Do your own translation of what you need the words to say for you, and let the music carry your prayers and your thoughts. But then, let me warn you that the words of Jesus we have just heard from the gospel might come crashing in and not seem quite so resonant with your personal prayers. Jesus is like that, gets in the way of our own plans and our own thoughts. I said before that in the midst of sadness and grief we can still be thankful, and that's partly what Jesus meant when he said, "Blessed are you who weep now, for you will laugh." It's partly what he meant, but the Beatitudes, as this list of blessings is called, is not really about us as individuals. Jesus, we are told in the introduction to this reading, went up to a mountain to pray on his own. And then he came down to a level place with a great crowd of his disciples, not just the 12, a big crowd of disciples, and then on top of that, a great multitude of people. And he looked at the disciples and said, so he spoke to his followers, not to everyone, and he spoke to them on the ground, on the level. Matthew tells the story in his gospel with Jesus still up the mountain, but I love the way Luke brings it down to the ground level of the people. And he says, "Blessed are you who are hungry, who weep, and when people hate you and revile you." He's not intending those really to be descriptions of our own individual struggles, but the life of the early followers of Jesus collectively, who were hungry for God, who were weeping at the state of their lives and their communities, oppressed and hated by the Romans. Jesus' words are a commentary on their community and their way of life. And by the time Luke writes these words down, the early church were definitely struggling and asking the question, well, what has changed? We are following Jesus, but people are still hungry. We still weep for our world, and the Romans are still ruling. What has changed? And don't even get us started with love your enemies and give everything we have away and even the shirt off our back. How are we supposed to do that? One writer, Mark Lowell Branson, puts it like this. He says, "The perspective being voiced here is not that poverty is good, or that weeping is something to be sought, but that a community that lives with these characteristics of vulnerability and receptivity to the presence of God will find themselves embraced and reconciled and comforted and even recreated. Jesus, he says, wants them to have new eyes, different perspectives, and awareness of God's work amongst them. So it's about perspective and the way we see things. Sam Wells, who's the vicar of St Martin in the Fields in London, says, it's a window into the heart of God that can be seen by those who experience adversity, but is invisible to the comfortable. A window into the heart of God that can be seen by those who experience adversity, but is invisible to the comfortable. And then to drive his point home, Jesus ramps all this up with the woes or curses. Woe to the rich, woe to the full, woe to the laughing, woe to those who are praised. And again, it's not so much woe to individuals, but woe to society who has ignored the needs of others and carried on in its own self-satisfied way. Those who were blessed, the followers of Jesus, became known as the saints, not special saints, but everyone was called saints, as we heard in the letter to the Ephesians. But the rest, well, they were people who seemed to be lost. And these words of Jesus can be about life here and now as well, in every generation. Life with all its questions and lack of answers, life with all its paradoxes. So who are the blessed today, and who might the lost be? Well, blessed are the hungry still, those who literally are hungry and who will eat today at the City Mission and other places. Blessed are the hungry, blessed are we who are hungry, who will be fed today from this table. We're hungry for our ritual bread and wine, which represents to us life with God and life in community. And blessed are we who hunger for God in our lives, even if we're not sure who God is or how we might meet God. Blessed are the hungry who seek, who look, who want to know God, and then who want to feed the hunger of our world with love and service. At this table, all are welcome and all are fed for that work. And in the same way, the mysterious words of the Requiem are sung for us all and for those for whom we pray. The words weep for us, and we are lifted by their beauty. Blessed are those who weep. Woe to us, though, if we think we have life figured out. Woe to us if we are self-satisfied and sure we know everything. Woe to us if we neglect the hungry at our door. Instead, we're invited to be here today, hearts and hands empty and hungry, ready to be filled with the beauty of music and the touch of God's grace, in this moment where nothing else matters. Nadia Bolz-Weber is a Lutheran priest from the United States, and she wrote this litany for All Saints' Day for her congregation. Blessed are they who doubt, those who aren't sure, who can still be surprised. Blessed are those who have nothing to offer. Blessed are they for whom death is no longer an abstraction. Blessed are they who have loved enough to know what loss feels like. Blessed are they who don't have the luxury of taking things for granted anymore. Blessed are they who can't fall apart because they have to keep it together for everyone else. Blessed are those who no one else notices. Blessed are the forgotten. Blessed are those who know there has to be more than this. Blessed are the kids who step between the bullies and the weak. Blessed are those who hear that they are forgiven. Blessed are the merciful, for they totally get it. And blessed are you, simply for being here. Blessed are you.